Okay. First, there is being. Then, which is second, there is life. Third, there is consciousness. Fourth, comes the self's will. Fifth, the collective will. Sixth, I ran out of fingers. Then the universal will. And then seventh, it begins again. I was supposed to match these. I didn't even read the whole thing. I was supposed to match these to Genesis to see how well they match up. And hold on one second. All right, so we've got in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the faces of the water. Right? So I would say that's one, being. Something exists, right? And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, and that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Well, I guess that's all part of the first day, huh? All right, so that's just being. That's just existence, right? Life, that's just, it's just existence. It's the yin and yang, it's life and death technically. However, they're separated. They don't intermingle. Right, and God said, let there be the firmament and the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were on the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. So now, does this correlate well with my life thing? Does it correlate well with my life thing? God called the firmament heaven, divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. I guess you could argue that maybe light and darkness is not life and death. Whereas heaven and earth is life and death, right? Because when we die, we go up to heaven and our body returns to the earth. And then I guess our body comes and then our body comes back down from heaven, and our body we come back down from heaven and our body emerges back out from the earth. If you understand what I'm saying, right? So there's just being, there's light and dark, right? There's duality, right? That's just being. And then we have life and death, which is created, right? So things can be born and die and be born again, potentially. All right, we're massaging this. This is the fun thing. You could just make anything work. You can make anything work. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear, and it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas, and God saw it was good. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit. I'm gonna is this consciousness? Can we argue this is consciousness? I guess to an extent, right? Because it's a concept of the self and it recreates the self of itself, right? Because it's, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it was so, right? So it's the concept of a self that gives birth to more of the self, right? So this is consciousness proliferating itself, but granted on a very, very diluted level, right? This is not like human consciousness as we consider consciousness to be today. We think consciousness is only in humans, and I disagree with this. I think that it's been evolving. Consciousness has been evolving this whole time, and we are just the next step in the chain, right? And so we could argue that this is potentially consciousness. We could see if that works. Yeah, sure. And the evening and the morning were the third day, and God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made the two lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was so. God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Now, I've already said that I don't like this one. Comes the self-will. However, I can make it... I think I can make this work. Because, in a sense, like, I don't like this one. And I think that this one's a cover-up. And it almost seems like, to me, like, how I'm interpreting this right now is the sun and the moon and the stars defining their own significance and their own purpose, right? They are there to provide light to the earth. Meanwhile, God made light 2 days ago, or was it 1 day ago? 2 days ago. God made light 2 days ago. It's already existed. We didn't need the fourth day to have light on the earth. The earth already had light. But the stars and the moon and the sun have been created to provide this light for us. Thank you. Thank you. No, that's a lie. We didn't need them. In a theoretical sense, right? Not saying we don't literally need the sun. What I'm saying is that whoever changed whatever was initially put here on this fourth day has, in my opinion, still encoded the concept of the self's will. This is us deciding our importance, and that we exist, and that we matter, and that we are what it's all about, right? So in a sense, that's what that is, I think. So we're going to go with it. We're going with it. Self's will. Then we go on to day 5, the collective will. This is where it might get hard for me. Well, we'll see how this goes. Blah, 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 blah. And the evening of the fourth day, and God said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven." So this is the entirety of the We got to keep reading. It's not done yet. Which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the fowl multiply in the earth. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And so this is where we get the collective will. All the creatures are becoming fruitful and multiplying, and they are encompassing the earth, right? And they are basically taking dominion over it, right? So this is the collective will. All the species on the planet have the same mindset. We must expand. Basically, we must be fruitful and multiply. We must proliferate ourselves. We must grow. We must expand as a species. We must conquer more territory. We must carve out a spot for us, right? And so the collective will, right? Maybe not for the whole planet, but for individual species, we get this collective will where they become fruitful and they multiply for their own sake, right? And God said, Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beasts of the earth after his kind, and it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and God saw that it was good. And God said, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image, and in the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. This is the universal will. We haven't got here yet. We haven't got here yet. We're in the process. We're working on this still. We haven't got here yet. We're not done, because this is everything in existence works together and is at peace. Notice it says all the herbs and the trees are for meat, not the animals. All the animals shall also eat the herbs and the trees, but they will not eat other animals. It doesn't say, and the animals are for you to be meat. No, it's just the plants. And I think that this is interesting, because to me this symbolizes, no harm, in a sense. I mean, you can arguably you can be like, well, you're still killing plants. Yes, but they have been provided for meat. I don't know. Arguably, if you put in the effort to grow the crops, and so long as you continue to grow the crops, you are proliferating the crops while also proliferating yourself, and therefore allowing yourself to proliferate the crops more. So, is this really bad for the crops? Is this bad for the plants? Arguably, it's a little grotesque, but if you think that's grotesque, then what the heck do you think animals, eating animals is, right? Whereas the plants, in theory, are on I don't know if I could really make a great justification, but we gotta start somewhere. It's not, we need to get our energy from something. And so that's what we got. Anyway, that's a tangent. Basically, to me, this symbolizes world peace. This symbolizes unity. This symbolizes balance, right? We are no longer attacking each other, right? We are now all coexisting as one. This is the universal will. We're no longer focused on the collective will. We're still in collective will times, transitioning towards universal will. The collective will, where it's my country, it's my town, it's my family, right? That's like breaking it up into, it's only me. It's only me, right? At some point it probably was just only me. Now, I feel like we're honestly devolving back to it's only me. We're oh man. Yeah, we're kind of actually, we have some saboteurs in the mix, right? And we were progressing towards collective will, or we were already in collective will, right? And we were progressing towards universal, if not close to it. And some people decided to hold us back. Why would they hold us back? Why would they want that? Because potentially, one, they're a little foolish, and they know we've got a good thing, right? And because day 7, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them, and the seventh, and on the seventh, and all the host of them, and on the 7th day, God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. Day 7, we rest and we start anew, right? What do you think happens when God goes to sleep, right? God, to me, like, it's a dream. God is having a lucid dream and created this beautiful dream, right? And then God went to sleep within its dream. And what happens in this dream, right? We're in like Inception, right? God creates another beautiful universe. And it all has to build up again. It all has to start over, right? So right now we've got a good thing going here. Like, we're near the peak, right? We're near the peak. Like, we don't want to go over the edge, because if we go over the edge, then we got to start over, right? Then we no longer have this, like, the state of the world right now is ideal for the short, what's the right term? The short-sighted. That's what it is. The short-sighted think that right now is the best things can be. And they don't want to risk losing it, right? They think, oh, if we continue going, it might ruin everything. They don't want to lose it. However, it's not lost. I would argue, just because, on the 7th day, God goes to sleep. What's happening here is God sanctifies it, right? And so it is at this point where we have reached what you could call a collective, a universal enlightenment. And now, if you want, you can rest and you can move on. But you don't have to. The day has been sanctified. You have the opportunity, you have the choice. But it is your choice. You don't have to go, right? And so, we have some people that they haven't fully evolved yet, right? So we're really, it's difficult, right? Because the more people on the planet, right, the more people that have to progress. And the less people, when we were small tribal units, it was very easy for the collective will to establish and maintain itself, because there was no going alone. The lone wanderer dies more often than not. So going your own way wasn't a thing. Whereas now we've gone to a level where you can do whatever you want. And you should do whatever you want. Because you are what matters. And because you have the opportunity, now it's a choice. It's always a choice. You can choose, do I want to help others for the collective will? Or do I want to help myself for the personal will? And everyone has a choice. And because the option is now a viable option, the choice has always been there. However, it's now more than ever more viable to choose the solo path, right? It's more viable than ever. There's so much abundance. You can do whatever you want, and it's safe, and there's abundance, and you can go out on your own, and you can survive, and you can thrive, right? And that worked. And it worked well. And so it steered us back in that direction. However, because we did that, we lost some progression, but that action has now led to us leading back to a point where you really can't go alone anymore. Why? You can't afford it. There's no longer the abundance that was there. It's no longer safe. It's no longer abundant. It's not as feasible anymore. Now the collective will is starting to matter more again. And the fact that we had already progressed into this, right? We already have people that have lived through this process, right? And are now moving on to the next level, right? So potentially we can go from falling back into, we can go from falling back into day 4 into slingshotting ourselves basically into day 6, right? And jump right up into that universal will. There might be some turbulence, but, right, I could see it happening if we want it, right? I guess if we want it, it's because it's a choice. It's always a choice. And then in the long run, it is what it is, right? Evolution is evolution. Only the fittest survive. And if we're not fit enough, we'll just die off. And something else will try. And that's fine. GG's. I'd like to see us make it to the finish line. Which, finish line. I don't know. It's like we're trying to end the main quest. This is the main quest. All right. There's a lot of side quests still available. The world is, what's that called? Free roam or whatever, right? It's open world, right, or whatever. So you can do as many side quests as you want, and there's tons of gameplay offered to you beyond the main quest. But the main quest is the end game. That's what we're trying to get to, right? And that allows you to move on to really the next world, right? However, some people are like, why would I go to the next world? What I got here is so good. And that's fair. Why would you care about going to, the next world when, you're having a good time? That's totally understandable. I get it. However, your time is limited. And it's running out. So, you had your fun. But at some point you got to grow up, you can act like a child your entire life, but you cannot be a child your entire life. Because that's just not how it works. It's just not how it works, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So basically, I think we're on track for day 6, right? We still got a long ways to go, obviously. But that's what I got here, right? So I think that works pretty well. I think that worked well. So yeah. Peace out.